like, okay, see, just from the melody alone, I would not have guessed that this was about death or murder at all. And it's like, yeah, most Irish ballads are about killing someone.
Okay. Make sure that's good. I want to pull up the deck of cards thing. Okay, hang on. Here we go. And how do I trying to make sure I get everything I need onto the fuck what? Eh. Nice. Okay. All right. I'm ready when you are.
Ready.
Okay. And a 1 and a 2. Okay. And going now. Hello. Good evening.
Hey,
Hi.
evening.
Good evening. It is me, a vampire. That is not the type of game we are playing tonight, but bleh.
Bleh.
uh, welcome to my second of hopefully many tabletop RPG in indie tabletop RPG nights, where we play indie tabletop RPGs. Right in the name. So last week we played the post-apocalyptic game When the Messages Began, and this week we're shifting gears and we're playing a game called Told by Starlight by Ryan Kahn. I don't know why I said it questioning like that when that is his name, but it is a cute little collaborative storytelling game about gazing at the stars and creating your own constellations. Um, as you can see on our screen, we have created our own little star chart or field of stars. And throughout tonight, we're going to be drawing on them, drawing constellations. Yeah, and telling stories through those constellations, what those constellations are about, and all that. You can find this game on itch.io by searching the real con, I think. Oh man.
Or you can just search Told by
Yeah, just
Starlight.
search Told by Starlight and you'll find it by Ryan Kahn. It's quite good. He does other games too, which I'll probably be looking at in the future. Anyway, the main way of playing this game involves a piece of paper, or as we're doing now, a multiplayer or a co-online drawing application that we have. Some things to write down, and a deck of cards, which we don't have pictured here, but we have a little multiplayer deck of cards on our screen as well. So this is definitely something you can play through the interwebs, something
Socially
like that.
distanced. Some
Mm-hmm.
socially distanced fun.
But yeah, so this game starts out by we both. I should start. This game is actually designed from 2 to like 5 players, with some special rules for only 2 players. So if you read it, there's like a little section that lets you know. But to start, after we draw our little star chart here, we are both going to be making what the game calls icons, which are archetypal, fantastical heroes and characters from mythology, of a mythology that we're making ourselves. Kind of like Apollo or Orion, all that kind of stuff. So, why don't we just get started?
So
Sound
you
good?
and I are going to make 2 icons each.
Right. Okay. So, we both need to first draw a constellation on the star chart. So do you want to go first? Just draw something on there.
Keep going. Ta-da.
Okay, my turn. Can't draw straight. Anyway, that's fine. Okay.
All right.
So we both do
And
two.
I'm gonna draw another one, I guess. Doot, doot, doot. Doot.
Okay, and for mine, doot and doot. Okay, now we need to make characters for these.
Right.
I'm trying.
The archetypes that we can choose from. Right.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, so there's a list of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So a list of 12 like archetypes that we can create our icons from. They are as follows: the hero, the scorned, the betrayer, the lover, the outsider, the oracle, the trickster, the artist, the protector, the fool, the healer, and the destroyer. So, and they all have like little things for us to make our characters from. So, oh, we did that.
Really don't know what to do for these. I guess the second one I drew kind of looks like a horse.
Yeah, good.
You've got a friend in horse.
You've got horse and friend. Disney, please don't copyright us. Okay, now I need to also start doing this. Okay. This is the silent retrospective part of the game.
Well, I've named mine.
What'd you name it?
So this one over here that looks like 3 prongs is Spinster.
Ooh.
And this one that looks like a horse is Epona.
Wow. I just realized now you're so much better at this than I am.
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Spinster is the trickster archetype, and Epona is the destroyer.
Okay.
Hey, I'm not drinking directly out of a gallon container tonight.
No, and I'm just drinking wine, so. from a wine
drinking
glass.
strawberry milk.
Strawberry milk.
Strawberry.
Oh man. Okay. I have their archetypes. I just need names now.
A word. A noun. Queen.
Okay.
Oh my god.
All right. So this one over here, their name is. Oh, hang on. I'm really bad at writing with my right hand on a mouse.
I'm so sorry.
Freya. And they are a artist archetype. Here is Leonia, and they are the lover archetype.
Now we take turns telling a tale, describing our icon's relationship with one other icon.
Okay.
And there is a table that we can use for relationships as well.
Oh, there is.
It looks like you can draw a card for that.
All right. I'll go first. Let me draw a card using this awesome app. 3 of spades. That is a spades, I believe. Oof. Okay. So parent and child, a negative parent and child relationship. I think that Leonia is the child of Epona, the destroyer. Leonia was raised by Epona to be another force of destruction. But she fell in love and decided that the world around her was not worth destroying. That it was too wonderful to be destroyed, and so has rebelled against her parent.
Shall I go now?
Sure.
So I guess this is going to be for the spinster and Freya. How do I draw a card?
Just click on it. That should work.
5 of Hearts. So that is a positive relationship, leader and subordinate. And you said Freya was which archetype?
Was the artiste.
The artiste.
The artiste.
Leader and subordinate. Fuck. But when I said spinster, I meant literally that she spins thread.
Oh, okay.
Not just that she's like an old unmarried lady. She is, but she also spins thread, and I think maybe she once taught Freya about... This is more of a mentor relationship, but whatever. She once taught Freya, and Freya helps her. The spinster spins her thread and Freya turns into something.
Oh, okay. 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 I think if it's okay, no, I'll do a connection between my own two characters. Or do we only do one? Does the game? How does the rule say?
Maybe we only do one.
Take turns telling a tale. Note this relationship when all stories are complete. Well, it says take turns telling a tale describing your icon's relationship with another icon. So I think technically both of our icons. So we should do a separate one for both of our icons.
Yes. Okay.
So I did one for Leona, so I should do one for Freya now. Okay. I'm going to do a connection between Freya and Leonia. I think the object of affection for Leonia is Freya, but it's not exactly requited. At least not fully requited. Leonia, she... I know I could have pulled a card, but I think this would be cute because Leonia is the lover archetype, so this kind of just fits in my mind. I don't like following rules anyway, Mom. Ugh. Anyway, Leonia met Freya one day. Freya was weaving the thread, weaving Spinster's thread into a lute of some kind, and they were tuning it and testing it, and each note just sent this wave of emotion over Leonia, and she just fell completely for them. And it was the beginning of Leonia's realization that not everything in this world needs to be destroyed, as Epona taught her. So yeah.
Guess I will do a relationship between Spinster and Epona. So Epona is kind of biding her time and waiting for the right time for the end of the world or Ragnarok, etc.
Mm-hmm.
I think Spinster is constantly tricking her. Like, every time the signs start to align, Spinster kind of shows up and derails all of Epona's plans. And Epona hasn't caught on yet. She thinks that Spinster is her loyal subject or her follower, but Spinster is constantly like tricking her into putting off the end times.
That's great. Okay. Okay. Then next, we shall figure out who's going to be the gazer first. So the way, since we created our icons and we're now moving on to creating more stories with these icons, one of us becomes the gazer and the first listener. So basically, whoever this is draws a card and draws a constellation based on that card, what the card tells you to do, and then they name the constellation. And then the next person, the other person, will tell a story off of that, and the other person gets to interrupt and ask questions. And then the way we're playing it is after we finish this constellation, we'll switch roles, and so one of us will be the gazer drawing the constellation. Stuff like that. So, who wants to be gazer first?
I just told my relationship for Spinster and Epona, so if you would like to go as gazer.
Fine, I guess. That's fine. Alright. Draw a card, any card. Okay. I got the 6 of hearts. So, I will draw a constellation with 6 stars. And its suit is hearts, so it has to be love, jealousy, or relationships. So, for you, it'll have to be about love, jealousy, or relationships.
Okay.
Let me pull up. Okay. There you go.
Don't forget to name it.
You're right, I totally forgot. Okay. So it's be love, jealousy, and relationships. Stop. Alright.
It's okay.
I'll name this one. There we go. How bad my handwriting is. Okay.
It's okay, you're writing with a mouse. With the wrong hand.
With the wrong hand. I'm a lefty. Hi.
So this is the constellation Desire.
It's pronounced Desiree. It's not.
Are you being serious or are you
No,
being
I'm being a butt about it.
Who desire.
And as part of this, you can consult a page on here that is that lets you pull cards and determine relationships, personality traits, and themes of the story that you're telling.
I want it to be something that Leonia has given to Freya to try and court her. But I'm not quite sure what it is at the moment. It looks kind of like a Big Dipper.
Yeah, that's what I thought when I drew it. I went, oh, that's unoriginal.
It out of soup.
Soup. Oh.
One day, Leonia got tired of just watching Freya and wanted to try and gain her affection and decided that the way to go about that was to cook her something. And so Leonia traveled far and wide getting the best ingredients and a nice, beautiful pot to put them all in and cook them. And the scent of the soup that was cooking drew Freya away from her work and led to their first conversation.
Oh, and how did that conversation go?
Oh god. Freya...
I can ask these questions. It's part of the game.
You can. Freya approached and said, What a fine scent this is. Tell me, what are you cooking? Leonia, being coy, said, I'm making soup for my true love to nourish her and grant her strength. And Freya, not quite cottoning on, said, well, I've been weaving morning and night. Could you spare a bowl for me too? And Leonia responded, of course I can. If you'd like, you can have the whole pot. But Freya said, no, this is for your true love. You should save some for her. And took her bowl and left again.
How nervous was Leonia for this?
Quite nervous. She was confident in her cooking skills, but when faced with speaking to Freya for the first time, she felt quite anxious that she might make a fool of herself. Unfortunately, Freya was so distracted both by her hunger and thoughts of the masterpiece she was working on that she didn't really notice.
Oh. I don't have any more questions.
To this day, people make soup to try and court the person they have a crush on, and if the person agrees to take the pot, then that's reciprocation of feelings, but if they only take one bowl and leave the rest, then it's a, like, gently turning down.
Oof.
Taking nothing is like, no, I want nothing to do with you, go away.
Yikes. Dang. Brutal.
Brutal fatality.
I don't want none of your goddamn soup. Disgusting.
How fucking dare you?
I'm sorry, is this lentil soup? Are you kidding me?
Excuse me, lentil soup is a gift.
It is.
If someone made me lentil soup, I would marry them.
As the stars deign. Okay. Is there anything else you would like to add to this wonderful story?
All I have.
Okay, so now you're the gazer, and so you get to draw a card. And draw a constellation.
Card. It's the King of Hearts.
Ooh.
So the king, I think, has a special rule. Using a different color, connect two constellations using between 2 and 10 stars, and then the teller will tell the tale that connects these two constellations.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I shall...
And it was the King of what?
King of Hearts.
Hearts.
So it's
okay.
about...
Love, jealousy, or relationship. It's about love. The language of love.
I am going to connect the Spinster and Leonia because we don't have any tales for them so far. Doot. 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 Doot.
You missed very bad. Try again.
Doot. 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 Doot.
Oh, dang. Okay. I'm trying to figure out what that looks like. It looks like a really long dog.
A really long dog. I can redo it if you want.
No. Do whatever you like, and you also have to name it.
I don't think I do.
You do have to name it. You're the gazer and the first listener.
Right. But it's It's the king, so it's connecting to constellations, but it's not its own constellation, I don't think.
No, it still has to be named. Because thankfully it's now a new constellation.
I'm gonna name it the Silver Thread.
Aw. Hmm.
And now it's up to you. It's
Oh
all
yeah.
you.
It's all me, baby. Alright.
No pressure. Strawberry.
Strawberry milk. So, spinster being well, she'll Spinster's pronouns are she her, right? I'm just making sure.
Yep.
Okay. Spinster, though she would probably never really admit it, is very protective over Freya. After all, Freya takes the things that she makes and turns it into things other people enjoy. And that gives quite a reputation onto the spinster. After all, the quality of the silk is just as important as what the threads do. So, being so protective over Freya, Spinster caught on very quickly about Leonia's passion for Freya. So, she decided to make sure that Leonia didn't have any ill intent for Freya. So she decided to play a few of her notorious tricks and see how Leonia reacted to them. See how Leonia acted under pressure and what her true colors were. So Spinster weaves a long silver thread that's stretched out and into a well, a magical well. And Leonia, passing upon it, was confused. It was a single long silver thread that just threaded through out into the horizon, and curious, ever curious, and hearing so much about what Freya does with the threads, she followed it, hoping to see Freya at the end of it weaving something magnificent for her. When she got to the well, she was a little confused. What was Freya doing down in this well, or what could possibly be down there that Freya would need? And so Leonia climbed down, and reaching the bottom, she found nothing. Except the end of a thread and a lonesome man sitting there all by himself. You could tell he's been there for years. Leonia asked him what fate befell him to land him in this well, and he bemoaned and told his tale about how he had been a fool and a tyrant to his former lover, and how he was sent here as punishment. And knowing that the only way out of this well was to climb the thread back out, Leonia found herself realizing that she could climb out herself and leave the man alone again or allow him to climb out with the thread. The man felt so repentant and so distraught that he felt himself not worthy of leaving. And Leonia, saw herself realizing that however long he had spent here was punishment enough. And so she allowed him to carry the thread back up, leaving herself stuck in the well. And Spinster, watching this whole thing from above, saw Leonia's true heart as someone selfless and kind, and whisked Leonia out of the well and back into her home safe, and gave her blessing to Leonia. And that's the story.
Now, if only Freya weren't so dense.
Now, if only.
Only.
Yeah. Whew.
Now it is your turn to draw a card, draw a shape, and give a name.
Name that bad boy. All right.
Name that bad boy.
4.
Hey, baby.
Hey, baby. 4 of spades. Okay. So I just draw one with 4 stars and tell the story behind the constellation. Okie dokes. Or you have to tell the story behind the constellation. You know what I mean. All right. And I will name this one. Spark.
Yes, to tell a story, and spades is creation, discovery, or invention. Okay. I think for a while under the spinster's tutelage, Freya was just about ready to start doing her own thing, but the spinster wanted to give her one last test before setting her out onto the world. And the spinster said, my student, I have taught you well, but in order to graduate from my tutelage, you must do something that you must prove that you are even greater than me. And so you must make something which I have never managed. You must make something which you must make something which can be both kind and cruel, both helper and hinderer. Something which humans may have but never hold, may keep but never control. And if you can do this for me, then I will consider you a master of your art. And Freya thought long and hard, day and night, wandering up and down the land, trying to think of something which could help and hinder, which could be kind and cruel at once. What could she make? And what could she gift onto the people? And one day, as she wandered, she saw a group of humans huddled together in their home, cold and shivering in the dark. And then, as the sun rose, they all seemed to relax and grow warm, and she realized if she could take a piece of the sun, if she could weave a bit of sunlight, a bit of fire. But she had never weaved fire before. She had, and unbeknownst to her, Spinster believed that this was an impossible test. That even if Freya solved the riddle, she wouldn't be able to create fire from thread. But she was underestimating her student. And Freya sat at her loom, surrounded by the spinster's threads in all colors, gold and orange and red and blue and white. And from sunup till sundown, each day she wove and wove and wove until beneath her hands it began to warm, and then it began to burn. And she kept weaving until she held fire in her hands. And not just fire, but the means to contain it. And she invited the people to her loom, and she showed them, here, this is how you spark a flame. This is how you set up a campfire, how you keep it contained, as contained as you can. This is how you set up a border of stone so that it doesn't burn too far. And with this, you will be able to light your homes in the night and to stay warm in the cold. But if you're not careful, the light will become too much and you will go blind. The heat will burn you and you will be injured and die. And the spinster appeared. It had been 1 year to the day since the spinster set this task, and she appeared before Freya, ready to say, well, you gave it your best shot, but I guess you're not ready yet. But then she saw what Freya had created and realized that she had underestimated her student. And proud, a little put out, but mostly proud, she said, you have done what I cannot. You have done what was once impossible. And so I bestow unto you the title of master, and I set you free. No more shall you be my student, rather you shall be my equal.
That was great.
Thank you.
Okay, it's my turn.
my turn to draw, and then your turn to tell a story.
That's right.
Doodle doodle-oo.
Draw that constellation.
A 5 of spades. Okay.
Ooh.
Hoop hoop. Two, 3, 4, 5.
Hmm.
And then this is mountains. Now it's all you.
Oh, jeez. Okay. This is a story of the first humans to discover the mountains. As simple as that. There was a time when the world was, or at least the world around the humans of our story, their world was flat. Or at least so they thought. And it wasn't until Epona, in one of her attempts at destruction in the world, brought about this violent shaking and this sound of stone scraping against stone. And over generations, her plan unfolded and gave rise to these jagged peaks, these jagged spikes into the air, big enough to topple giants. And for many, many generations, the people lived in fear of these creations of Epona. They feared the worst things would arrive from these spikes, from these jagged bits and pieces of stone. Until one particular human, only known as the Traveler, decided one day to leave their safe, comfortable home and leave towards the mountains. They took with them...
They do that.
Say again, sorry.
Why did they do that?
They never felt truly at home where they lived. Many considered them an outcast, an outsider, solely on their views of expanding out and exploring new things and trying new things and believing in new things. And they did not feel at home. And so they left with nothing but the clothes on their back and a few days worth of food. And they left, and it spent many days in the plains with the mountains just out of reach, and slowly began to wonder, were they even there? Or how long it would take to get there. But many, many, many days of traveling later, the peaks got larger, got closer, and they arrived at the base. of the first mountain and looked up at the snow-capped tops of the mountains, blotting out the sun, creating this aura around it as if it was beckoning them towards it, as if inviting them in. And they knew they were unprepared. They knew they were not ready. They knew the risks of going, of climbing, of venturing further. But that same wanderlust, that same drive to explore, kept their feet from moving step by step upwards. And they scraped their feet and they calloused their hands, and they felt the biting cold winds and the howls of distant creatures who made the mountains their home. But they persevered and they continued. And when they finally reached the top, they realized how worth it all was. The view spanning out as far as they could possibly imagine. Looking beyond from where they came, they could see their home all the way in the little valley where they lived. And further still past the mountains, they could see land that has never been explored. At least not by them. Not yet, anyway. And so they took a step down, not back towards their home, but continuing on. And slowly they stepped and continued. And some say, to this day, you can still feel the spirit of the traveler within you, urging you to find the nearest mountain and climb it, urging you to look beyond where you live and take a step away into the unknown.
I think Epona feels about that.
Epona likes to try and throw in obstacles. She's not super happy about it. She created this as a way of terrifying and convincing the people to destroy themselves and live in fear. And to have this one creature, one lowly creature, inspire so many other people is frustrating for her. And so she will try to throw obstacles in everyone's way who tries to emulate their lifestyle. And it's rarely, if ever, successful. And some may have the spinster to thank for that, but...
Just about to say, maybe the spinsters.
Yeah. Okay. Any more questions?
I'm just thinking that, like, maybe amongst the people, everyone kind of... Like, everyone knows that the spinster isn't actually on Epona's side, but, like, at certain festivals and everything, you have to, like, loudly and melodramatically proclaim, like, oh, the spinster, Epona's right-hand woman, working with her to just further the spinster's charade.
Sounds about right. Yeah. That makes sense to me. Yeah. Okay. It's my turn to draw.
It is your turn.
It is my turn. Okay.
Oliver is trying to get my strawberry milk. Little bastard. Hi.
Alright, so I got the 9 of spades again, or not a spades again, but it's a 9 this time, so it's the
Gonna
same.
get on spades.
We're just rolling in them spades. I have to draw 9 stars. Okay.
Yeah, we're almost out of stars.
Okay. Alright, there.
Come here. Here. Up here. Come up. Come up here. Come up here. Say hello.
Say hello, little man.
Come all the way up. Yep. Nope. Get your hind paws up here too. Not over there. No, no, no. No, no, no. No strawberry milk for the boy.
Give him the strawberry milk.
He's lactose intolerant.
Let him drink.
No. Oliver just wrote ... in our Discord chat.
He is upset with you right now.
He's angry.
He is angry. Okay, now I need to name it. Alright.
Whenever I'm trying to do anything, you want to be on my lap, but when I actually want you on my lap, you're like, no, sorry. Got other things to do. Come on. Buddy. Good enough. There he is.
Okay. Right, I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yes, 9 stars. Okay.
Anything, so I'm gonna refresh the page and hope that doesn't fuck us up. The drawing is still loading. There it is, the jagged shore. Ooh. Ooh. And this is another thing for its spades, so it's discovery.
Right.
I am gonna draw another card for more themes. I got the Queen of Spades. And the Queen of Spades is stagnation. Little boy.
There he is.
Stagnation, discovery, creativity, and the jagged shore. Baby.
He's him. He is such a distraction.
He is. Careful. Alright, long after the days of the traveler, there was a period where it felt as though everything had been seen. Every corner of the land conquered. And so people just were content to stay in their homes, to stay in their hometowns. There was nobody exploring anymore. And Spinster thought this was super boring. Just super boring. And so she enticed Epona out of her slumber and said, I have my queen, as she tended to call Epona, mockingly, though Epona didn't know it. My queen, a prophecy has come to me. If you were to go to the ocean side and stomp your great hooves, you would summon a tidal wave so magnificent that it would wipe out all life on the continent. And Epona, being eager to do just that, set out for the closest seashore. Fortunately for her, and just as the spinster had planned, the closest seashore was made of straight, towering, but fragile cliff, going with a sheer drop right into the ocean. And so Epona went, and she stood on the edge of the cliffs, and she stomped her great hooves, and pieces of the cliff began to crumble away beneath her. But she took no notice, so caught up in her work, as the spinster yelled encouragingly from a safe distance away, like, "Yes, my queen! Just a little bit more! Just
Yes,
a wee bit
queen.
more!
Yes, queen!
Yes, queen!" And Epona, encouraged by this, gave one last stomp, and it was a stomp too far, for the cliff beneath her crumbled, and she went tumbling into the sea. Leaving behind her no longer the straight, perfect cliffs that once were there, but new inlets and bays had been formed where her hooves had fallen, carved out from the rock. And a great lagoon where her body hit the edge of the cliff. And yes, there was a great tidal wave, but not as big as Epona had hoped. And she would perhaps have preferred that it didn't come at the cost of her getting wet. The spinster, well, first she laughed and laughed, but then she saw Epona standing up from the salt water and looking at her, and she said, "Oh dear. Oh dear me. Perhaps 'twas not a prophecy I saw." Be too angry, it was only a jest, and then she disappeared. And Epona, enraged, gave chase, leaving earthquakes with each step she took. But at the end of it all, though the spinster had to hide from Epona's sight for several centuries in order to let her temper cool, spinster was pleased because once again people were traveling and were discovering. They had all heard the great the sound, the crashing of stone into water, and became curious and set out again to see what new what new shape the land had been formed into. So, though Epona was unhappy with the result, Finster was quite pleased.
Who was the first human to discover the Jagged Shore?
Say it was a young girl in a fishing boat.
Oh.
She had the waves caused by Epona had swept her away from her fishing village, and she floated on and kept a watch out. She knew that there would be the straight, perfect cliffs, and from there she would be able to orient herself. But by the time she got there, Epona had long gone in chase after the spinster, and what the girl found, instead of the straight cliffs she was expecting, was an entirely new land. And unsure where to go, she went into the Great Lagoon and brought her boat ashore and prayed not to the spinster, but instead to her student Freya to help her find the way home.
Very nice. Okay. Your turn to draw, right?
We're fast running out of space.
We are.
We may need to do only one more each.
Okay.
Let's grab us a card. The 7 of Clubs.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Ho ho.
So, Clubs is bravery, adventure, and war.
Nice.
Somehow find 7 little doohickeys. Three, 4, 5. Who?
Hang on, let me reload the page. Let's see if it. Hmm.
6.
Could you re-invite me to this? Because for some reason I'm not getting it.
Yes.
Okay.
Can and Beetle. Allow me to invite my friend.
Give me access.
Give her access.
Just a moment of technical difficulties.
Send you the link, and hopefully that will work. Blah blah blah.
Blah blah blah.
Wait, The link is still in our chat, so if you can try clicking on that. But I'll also send you the...
No, I got it.
Oh, yay, you're back. You have returned.
And you drew it? Did you draw it?
No.
Oh, okay.
Need to reload the page. Okay, 7 stars. Fuck me. Two, 3, 4, 5.
Sorry.
6. Wait, no. 7.
Okay.
How do I name this? And I name it the river.
Okay. And it was the 7 of clubs. Okay. Here, let me actually use the card thing. Okay. Queen of Hearts. Queen of Hearts. Indebted and benefactor. Eight of clubs. Eight of hearts.
Themes on the next page after that.
I see it, yeah. And then Queen of Spades. Okay. This is the story of of two friends on opposing sides of a conflict between two peoples. The reasons for this conflict are lost to time, maybe over a powerful ruler's desire for more land. Who can say? The reasons vary from myth to story to story. But what remains constant is these two close friends. Before the war, they would hang out together, spend time together, wasting away the days together at the river. The river didn't seem to have a name. Maybe it was the river nearest you, wherever you live, or some far-off river that no one knows about. But they spent many a year, many a day, many a lazy day just sticking their feet in the water and just chatting about whatever came to mind. That was until the war started. They were from different towns, and those towns decided to ally against different factions. They were both passionate people, eccentric people. Not many people would consider them the type of people to join an army, but their passion for their homes almost equaled their passion for each other. And so they joined their respective armies, and well, they say the battle that occurred at the river was almost some say it was destiny that they would face each other against each other at the place where they considered themselves closest.
Why did the battle go to the river?
It was a point. It acted as a border between the two towns, and there were disputes, and one side was trying to gain land on the other. And so this area seemed to be the best place, the most strategically optimal place to have a battle. I'm sure one of them went to their superior officer and begged them, please don't have this battle here. Please, can we have it anywhere else? They were being selfish, and they knew it. But they were just one of the lower ranks. They had no say, no weight to pull. And so the battle carried on. And it turned the river red. And on either side of the banks, the two friends locked eyes. And slowly they each took a step, wading through the waist-high water towards each other, both unsure what would happen as soon as they got within range of their swords. And they struggled against each other, neither one wanting to do what they knew they were ordered to do. And when one side favored over the other, when one friend almost brought down the other, there was a moment of recognition, a moment of realization, a moment of hindsight of where they were and what they were doing, and every moment that carried on between the two of them in this location, in this space that had happened before. And so the one who had the upper hand sheathed his sword and helped the other up and turned him around towards his own side and gave him a push and said, "Go. I don't know if I'll ever see you again, but I cannot do this. Not here, not now, not with you. Goodbye." And then they turned around and they walked back to their own camp. And the other, the one who was spared, stood there, the chaos raining around them, splashing of feet into the water, the screams of pain, the cries of battle roared around them, and they just silently, dumbfounded, walked back to their own camp and sat down and cried.
Avery, holy fuck.
And that is the story of the two friends at the river.
Did they ever meet again?
Some optimistic people, in their own versions of the story, like to say that they do. That long after the war, they both returned to the river, both bearing new scars, bearing both emotional and physical. They return and they say nothing. They just sit in silence for a long while before each of them embracing the other. A silent forgiveness and thanks for what happened in that day. And that's the story. And now it is my turn. Okay.
Oh, it's your turn.
What?
Now it's your turn.
It's my turn. Hello. Alright.
It's you.
Oh, it's me. Alright. I did the 10 of diamonds.
Well, we don't have 10 stars, so...
I will draw again. The 8 of spades.
Can't do that one either.
The 7 of hearts.
Nope.
Curses.
We have
3 of spades. There we go.
a...
That I can do. Alright. Creation, discovery, and invention. Okay. Gotta name it. Wow, this is the hardest part. Okay, the name. The name.
Kind of like... Wah.
That's an awful letter. I'm just gonna redraw that.
Baby boy.
What's he doing?
Here he comes. He's walking towards me. Now he's taking a detour towards my strawberry milk.
He's nothing but persistent. Okay, there we go.
The bend. Allow me to draw a muse card. 7 of spades.
Is this your card?
Pessimistic.
Oof.
Don't want to do that. We just had a sad story, so I'm leaving that alone. Jack of spades. Self-indulgent.
Okay.
Alright.
Alright. I can get behind that. Some might call me self-indulgent. I say as I take a long sip of my wine.
So, way back in the early years after Leonia had left her mother's side and decided, you know what, the world is kind of nice. I don't want to destroy it. She ended up. She wanted to sample all of the joys of living. The food, the wine, dancing, music, art, puppies.
Do you like me acting out everything you're doing?
Yes,
I think that's what I'm
I
going to do.
love it. Where was I going with this? And so she went from town to town, seeing all that they had, both the good and the bad. She wasn't just about, like, bring me your finest, whatever. She was just happy to be there. Till one day, the path between one town and the next was a narrow passage known as the Bend between the mountains. And nothing grew there, and no one liked to stay for very long. It was a grim, kind of dismal place. And so, but Leonia, rather than skip ahead and use her godly powers to fly herself to the next town, decided to take it like a mortal, to walk. Everyone warned her, it just won't be fun. You won't have a good time. But Leonia said, that's fine. It's... as long as I get where I'm going, does it matter what I experience on the way there? And everyone around her said, yeah, kinda. But she, being young and naive, said, no, it's fine. And off she went. And for the first hour or so, she was all smiles and, oh, this isn't so bad. But after a while, she grew bored. And boredom was the worst emotion she had ever experienced. But she had set this challenge up herself, and she wanted to see it through. She wasn't going to cheat and teleport or fly or use magic powers. She was going to walk. And walk she did. And walk. And walk. Until she noticed that her footsteps were echoing off the walls of the canyon and through the mountains in an interesting pattern. And so she tapped her foot and listened to it echo, and she tapped again and listened and snapped and heard it echo and said, well, this isn't so bad. And heard it bounce back to her. And in a fit of inspiration, she began to sing and tap her feet and dance. And with just her body and the echoes that were coming down from the mountains, she created, within the Bend, the sound of a grand party all by herself. And it was so loud and so intriguing that people from both towns, one on one side and one on the other side of the passage, were drawn in, wondering what could be happening. And imagine their surprise when they came upon just Leonia alone, having the time of her life in this gray, lifeless place that they had all said she would hate. That they had all predicted she would grow bored of and try and leave as soon as possible. Instead, she was having a blast. And as they watched, the people began to see what she was seeing. To realize that even in a place like that, even in a place where no flowers grow, there is something beautiful. You just have to find it. And they all began to dance and sing and tap their feet and clap their hands along with her, and the party carried on for 3 days and 3 nights. Until exhausted. Everyone was exhausted except Leonia, who kept going. But everyone else was like, you know, we'll just leave her to it, and went home.
Did this become some kind of tradition between the two towns?
Yes. Every year, whether Leonia was there or not, they would meet up at the center of the bend and dance together and create music. And soon it spread to other towns. They didn't have their own bend, their own place like that, but there would be festivals popping up in times of darkness, in the harshest winter, or the hottest summer. People began to fight back against the grimness with dancing and singing and laughter.
How did Leonia feel about how these people started doing this even without her there?
She was overjoyed. While she was sad that she couldn't go to every single party, but that would be impossible, she took it as yet another sign that the world is something so wonderful, and the people within it are capable of finding such wonder and beauty, even in the things that even they once said were hopeless.
And this will be my last question. How did Epona feel about this?
Oh, angry. Which is just the thing, right? Everyone dancing and singing and having a good time, even when Epona is going, but look, it's terrible. Just lay down and die. You're having a horrible time. And they would respond, no, we're not. This is great. We're having so much fun. Fuck you, go away.
Get lost, horse lady.
And it's said that on the day that people cannot find a reason, that no one can find a reason to sing and dance, that's the day Epona wins.
That's great. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. I don't think there's any space left to draw anything. But we managed to make good use.
We did. We did a good
use
job
of the space. We good use of the space that we've created together. Play with me in this space.
Play with me in this space. I would love to play this game again, perhaps with more people, with a bigger canvas. I want to play it like in real life with just a giant sheet of paper on the floor and just go ham.
Definitely. Like once the dark times end and we enter the new era of...
Yeah, once we enter the era of having a vaccine.
Once we enter the era of being able to be within 6 feet of each other, that'll be great. Which is the full name of the new era. It's very wordy. But yeah, this is... I mean, we've been gone for an hour and a half. I think this is a good stopping point for today. And there's Oliver. There he is.
Channel mascot.
Here he is. He's such a baby. Oh, baby.
He's like 5 years old.
He is a baby.
I know, but it's wild because every time I think about, like, every time I'm like, how old is Oliver? He's like 1, right? 1 or 2. And the other day, my mom was like, we've had him since your sophomore year of college.
Oh,
baby.
Like,
no.
He's a big boy now. He can do his taxes.
Anyway. He's still an infant.
Yes, he
can't do taxes.
He
doesn't know math.
How dare you assume I know math? Oh man. I gotta say, every time you started talking about Epona, I was just thinking of the John Mulaney horse loose in a hospital bit. I was just like, the worst days are when you don't hear from the horse at all.
There's a horse loose in the apocalypse.
Has anyone heard from the? Anyway, John Mulaney, please don't sue me. All right. Thank you for so much for watching. I feel like we're definitely gonna come back to this game once we have more people to play with. That's
Yes.
just
I think
me.
it would be fun if we get a big viewer base if instead of the two of us asking questions during the teller's stories, we could open it
Oh
up to the
yeah,
chat.
that would be really awesome. That would be really something awesome to do. So, what that means is, if you're watching, you need to tell all of your friends to watch, and then have them.
Yeah.
Basically, we need to make a multi-level marketing scheme, pyramid scheme for our channel. And I think, if as long as you promise them that like you'll live forever if you watch this, you'll get super rich if you watch this. What are other
Might
pyramid
count
scheme?
under false advertising and we might get sued.
Well, if pyramid schemes can do it, so can we, right?
That's true.
So,
But
just
in all
tell.
seriousness, don't fall for multi-level marketing schemes.
You can for this one.
You can for this one.
Every other one, no, don't do that. And you can sign up for this multi-level marketing scheme by going to my Patreon at patreon.com/asacente, SACCENTE. I'm gonna like, as the further we get into this, the more I'm gonna like improve my graphics skills and like put our Patreons like underneath our faces while we play. That'll be smart.
Fun.
Yeah, so we don't have to keep doing this. But Vico, where can we find you?
You can find me also on Patreon at Iconoclast Productions. ICONOCLASTPROD.
Nice. I love that you paused in between there because you probably forgot how to spell
I did
iconoclast.
forget how to spell it.
That's okay though. You remembered. All right. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you. See me on Wednesday playing a video game. Vico might be there most likely, and then back here next Saturday when we play a different TTRPG.
And you can see me on Monday on Twitch, Small Vico, SMOLVICO. I'll be drawing and chatting.
Hell yeah! All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. One last look at Oliver.
Oh, bye, Oliver.